three concepts plays an integral role in shaping who we are and where we are going. The past holds our experiences and our lessons, the present challenges us to act and grow, and the future inspires us to dream and reach for new heights. Here at Gaborone Toastmasters Club, our mantra is we leave no one behind, and tonight is no different. Tonight, as we gather, let's take a moment to reflect on how far we've come, celebrate where we are, and think about the possibilities that lie ahead. Each speech tonight, each role, and each evaluation tonight contribute to shaping our future, and together we continue to grow and evolve. Let's make this meeting memorable as we connect the past, present, and the future. As usual, we have our Toastmaster of the day or of the evening, and tonight is no different, as our Toastmaster of the evening is Toastmaster Tshepo Magoe. Tshepo Magoe is a civil engineer by profession with an MSc in project management. She is certified in Prince 2 and project management professional PMP methodologies. She joined Toastmasters in June of 2024 and is now on level 2 of the innovative planning pathway and continues to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our captain of the evening, Toastmaster Tshepo Magoe.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Good evening, guests, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for that lovely introduction. As the Toastmaster of the day, my role today is to direct the proceedings of the meeting to make sure that the meeting is a success, as is required by Toastmasters. But I'm not alone. I've got fellow role players who I will call to the virtual stage later so that they can tell us about the roles they have assumed tonight. Like Madam President was saying earlier on, today's theme is past, present, and future. Usually at the beginning of the year, we have some wishes or a wish list that we want to attain at the end of the year, things that we want to achieve, things that we want to help us improve. Since we are now at the tail end of the year, now is the time to reflect, to do a self-introspection, to look at our past in order for us to see if the stuff that we had made commitments towards, if we have achieved them or not, the present, where are we, and also to look at the future, where we'll see how we can improve in future. Without wasting any time, I would like to call upon Madam President Toastmaster Tumelo Maphalala again for her to do the toast of the day. Toastmaster Tumelo, please welcome to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. The toast of the evening is a tradition here at Toastmasters where we toast to a successful evening, a successful meeting, and perhaps any other endeavor we'd like to toast to. Tonight we are under the theme past, present, and future, and I've prepared a toast in that regard. Please grab your glasses, cups, or any imaginary gavel you may have nearby, and allow me to toast. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, here's to the past, for it has taught us invaluable lessons and shaped the people we are today. To the present, for it is where we have the power to act, grow, and make a difference. And to the future, for it holds endless possibilities that await us if we continue to believe in ourselves and keep moving forward. Cheers to the past, present, and future. May they continue to inspire and guide us in everything we do. Hear, hear. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tumelo Maphalala. Like I said earlier on, I am not alone. I have some fellow Toastmasters who have committed to assist me through the journey of making this meeting a success tonight. I'll start off with the timekeeper who will come to the virtual stage to explain their role to the meeting and tell us why they took that role. The Toastmaster is none other than Tepo Taba. Namesake, welcome to the visual stage.
Wow, thank you so much. Greetings, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'll be the timekeeper for today's meeting. I will time the table topics, the formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green flag, the yellow, and the red cards, which denote specific time remaining. For the table topics, the speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card. I will raise the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and at 2 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. For the icebreaker speeches, it should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. The evaluations should be 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Back to you.
Thank you, Tepo. Next up is the grammarian of the night, Tumelo Maphalala.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I also double up as the grammarian. And as the grammarian, my role is to take note of the use of the English language, both the proper or exceptional use, and as well as the improper or not so correct use of the English language. So I will be policing your English tonight. In addition to this, my role includes introducing the word of the evening. The word of our evening is nexus, spelled N-E-X-U-S. Nexus means the connection between things linked in a series. For example, the nexus between teachers and students. I challenge you, implore you to use this word in your speeches tonight. I'll also be taking note of how many times you use the word of the day. The word of the day is meant to improve our vocabulary. Therefore, I trust that you will do what's needful and use the word of the day. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Tumelo. Now to proceed, I will welcome to the stage the R counter to explain her role and tell us why she took up that role. Leah Musunga, please welcome to the visual stage.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm trying to spotlight myself. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. And as the R counter, my role is basically to note any filler words that are used and to just take an account of that. So these are words like or maybe extended pauses. So these, like I said, filler words that don't necessarily enhance one's speech, just to take note of that to help us to improve, to become better speakers. So obviously taking up this particular role, it helps me to work on my listening skills because I have to then listen to every speaker that does come to the virtual stage. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Leah Musunga. Next on the stage, I'll call the Hack Master, Boipelo. Boipelo, please welcome to the virtual stage to explain your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I will be taking on the Hackmaster role. The Hackmaster role helps us develop listening skills. So I'll be listening to the speeches and noting down a few things that I would later on ask the teams. So it helps us to attentively listen to what is being said. When we look at the nexus between this role and building our communication skills, you would realize that for us to communicate effectively, we need to listen to what other people are saying and respond accordingly. So please pay attention to the speeches and you will get questions later on. I thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Boipelo. Finally, to complete the nexus of the role players, I'll call to the virtual stage the General Evaluator, Gerald Peterson, to come explain his role.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. My predominant role this evening is to consider the nexus of the program versus the actual running of the meeting this evening. And the idea behind it is that I keep track of how the meeting progresses. And at the end of the meeting, then give feedback on how this has played out. Part of my role also includes introducing the different role players to render their feedback, as well as the evaluators at the end of the meeting. I will also give a general overview of how the meeting was conducted. Thank you so much, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Gerald. We now continue with the program to better speaking or prepared speeches, where we'll have 3 speeches of fellow Toastmasters who had the opportunity to prepare speeches to present tonight in this meeting. I will encourage the speakers tonight to challenge themselves and use the word of the day. The word of the day is nexus, which simply means the connection between things linked in series. In order to kick off the better speaking segment, I'll now call evaluators for different presenters, starting off with Tato Komani, who is the evaluator for Bonolo Kwapa. Tato, kindly come to the virtual stage and tell the meeting the objective of Miss Bonolo Kwapa's speech. Is Tato around?
Madam Toastmaster, I'm not sure if the program has changed or if I'm the first evaluator for Hilda's speech.
Okay, Gerald, I was told earlier on that Hilda will not make it. Apologies for that.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Madam Zoom Master, is Tato on the call?
Yes, I can see him. He is there.
Tato, kindly unmute your mic.
Unless he's not by the computer or wherever by the device. But I can see he's in the list of the participants. Maybe we can go to the next speaker and we'll come back to Bonolo.
Okay, thank you. I hope Mpho is ready to take up the stage to explain the meeting, the objective for Dr. Hasina Hamdani's speech.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you
Am
are.
I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right. Thank you so much. Today I will be evaluating Hasina. I hope I'm pronouncing her name properly for her path presentation mastery level 1, project 4 evaluation and feedback, her first speech titled Whispers of the Laughing Doves for 5 to 7 minutes. The speech purpose is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. Another one is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Hasina Hamdani with a speech titled Whispers of the Laughing Doves. Hasina Hamdani, Whispers of the Laughing Doves.
Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Have you ever had a simple encounter with nature that made you pause and reflect that what's the true meaning of love, commitment, and family? That happened exactly to me on one morning when I observed a laughing dove perching on a low branch of tea just above my parking spot. At first, nothing happened to me, but as the day passed, I observed that, that dove is motionless. My curiosity turned into concern. Is it a sick bird? Is it dehydrated? Or it is very weak to fly? Determined to help, I contacted veterinarian. He chuckled first and then explained to me, Madam, you are not dealing with a single laughing bird who is in trouble. This is a pair of laughing doves who are taking turns to take care of their chick. At that moment, realization struck. On discovering that I was dealing with a quiet commitment of the pair who are taking care of their chick. That discovery was the nexus for me to prompt me to discover deep into the life of the laughing birds. And I discovered three profound lessons from their life. The first, the strength of minimalism. The second, the power of shared parenting. And the third one is the beauty of lifelong bonding. Coming to the first point, the life of the tale of the laughing bird, it begins with the gentlest courtship. The male coos in a soft tune like a muted laugh to captivate the heart of the female dove. And once bonding happens, they start quickly embarking the journey of making a nest. The male doves pick the twigs and grasses, and the female doves carefully weave them together to make a simple nest. Simple fragile even, but it serves the purpose perfectly. This minimalist approach of the laughing dove teaches us that the true meaning of life, it is in the simplest of the strength is in the simplest of the living. To use sometimes the less is more. Coming to the second point, the power of parenting. Once the nest is built, now female lays eggs, one or two. After that, the shared parenting starts. Both male and female, they take turn to incubate and guarding their eggs. Once checking clicks, once the chicks comes out, hatching happens. This commitment it continues, and they feed, they nurture, and they guard their chicks until they are strong enough to come out of the nest. This shared partnership it shows the unspoken commitment. Rain or sun, day or night, whatever happens, their commitment it continues without any fail. Coming to the third point, the lifelong bonding, beauty of the lifelong bonding. These bird, this parenting, it doesn't stop here. The mate, they becomes lifelong couple. They met throughout life, year by year, their bonding gets deeper and deeper. That's a testament of lifelong bonding. It teaches us the lesson of shared love, and in today's world where relationships feels like fleeting, this shows us these laughing birds is offer as a model for the lifelong bonding. Inspired from the life of laughing bird, starting from nesting to the lifelong bonding, I composed a small poem. I will just share a verse with you. The laughing bird's soft coo, like a gentle laugh, it brings peace, soothing the life's uh, painful path. In its simplicity, the quiet wisdom flows in lessons of stillness where calmness grows. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Please unmute your mic and give Hasina a big round of applause.
Oh,
Woo, 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 woo.
Thank you for thank you for that lovely speech, Hasina. There's a lot that we can really learn as people from doves. We continue now with the program. Next on the agenda, I would like to try and see if we can get Tato Komani to the stage to come and explain to the meeting the objective of Bonolo Kwapa's speech. Tato, I hope you are there.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I have the pleasure of evaluating Bonolo Kwapa. Toastmaster Bonolo is doing pathway presentation mastery, level 1, project 2, writing a speech with a purpose. The purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style that the member chooses. The speech is titled Rising Beyond My Traumas. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Tato. Bonolo Kwapa, Rising Beyond My Traumas. Rising Beyond My Traumas, Bonolo Kwapa.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Did you know that 1 out of every 5 students report cases of being bullied in their school lifetime? Did you know that 80% of adults who experience bullying in their school lifetime experience healing at a later stage in life? By show of hands, how many of you in this room have experienced bullying, at least in your school lifetime? I form part of the statistics too. I was trying to see if I can see more hands, but I form part of those statistics too. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bonolo Kwapa, and I'm here to make my presentation on a message titled Rising Beyond My Traumas. I grew up as a bubbly child. I was the girl I thought I was at that time. I was that child who thought the world was my oyster and that I could do anything and be anything I wanted to be. Until I got to junior school. 2 of my friends and I were bullied. Were bullied so much so that I never used to look forward to going to school. We would report the bullying, but the more we reported the bullies, the more they bullied us. They bullied us so bad that they would bully us even outside of the school premises. It was just so bad. And this was a group of boys, young, teenage, rebellious boys that would sit by the back of the toilets during lunch hour, during that study period, and smoke, intoxicating themselves with heavy substances that are illegal. And when they're done doing that, they will come and harass us, sometimes in front of the whole school. You can imagine the embarrassment. And they would do that and do that. Like I said, we would report, they would sometimes be suspended from school, but they kept on doing it anyway. It was so bad that at some point, our guidance and counseling teacher sat us down. She called us to the side and said, "My girls, we all can see how bad the situation is, but I urge you, please do not allow these boys to steal your destiny. Do not allow them to destroy your careers. Keep your heads held high." Mind you, that was just a few months towards our exam. It got so intense on the last year of the 3 years of our junior school. And at the time she gave us that encouragement, to be very honest, I was already giving up. I had already started to suppress my emotions. Whenever I wanted to speak, I would just keep quiet. I would just try to fit in so that I could survive that period. I tried to be what these bullies wanted us to be. Little did I know that that habit, that pattern that I was forming at that time will last long into my adulthood. For some reason, I managed to survive that few months towards our exam, and we left junior school. It is only later on in life, as I was trying to grow as a person and trying to pursue my other interests and my other life endeavors, that I realized that traumatic past, those years of bullying that I had not dealt with, kept on messing up with my future. It kept on sabotaging the ambitions and everything that I was trying to do in my present self. And that's when I decided to take action. I decided to look for healing through therapy. It is through therapy then I got to find other solutions like finding support groups and finding solitude in God. But while I was on that journey of healing, I thought to myself, how many other people are going through what I've been through? How many other adults are going through what I have been through or what I'm going through currently because of their past? And more importantly, how many students are currently going through what I went through so many years ago? And that is why I decided to challenge all of you in this group today that I believe we are all connected to a student in one way or the other. In this group, we have parents, we are siblings, we have nephews and nieces that are probably going through what I went through so many years ago. And the results lasted well into my adulthood. I'm still dealing with the consequences of what I went through so many years ago. I can't even count the years. And so I urge each and every one of you in this group to do something against bullying in schools. Let us raise awareness and educate our kids about bullying in schools and the effect, the consequences of it. Let us promote a culture of kindness and inclusivity right from our homes, because these bullies come straight from our homes. Let us model a culture. Let us model the behavior that we want our kids to portray in schools. Because as I'm saying, these kids emulate exactly what they see from homes. Let us collaborate with teachers for anti-bullying policies in schools. Let us advocate for policies that promote mental health in schools, because believe you me, at that time, had I had that resource, had there been that resource at that time, I wouldn't be dealing with something I could have dealt with so many years ago. And so I just want to say in closing that together we can. Together we can raise a generation that doesn't have to overcome traumas like we are right now. I thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Bonolo. It is very sad that even in our adult life, we still suffer bullying, especially in the workplace. But Bonolo is saying to us, do not allow bullies to steal your future. Let us raise awareness, and let's take care of our kids. We will continue with the program. Now going to our last speech. At this point, I'll call upon Toastmaster Rethabile Seiso to give us the objective of Ms. Lami Mthethwa speech objective. Welcome, Rethabile.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Tonight, I have the privilege of evaluating Lami Mthethwa. Her purpose for this project, the purpose of the speech, is to learn or review basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose, and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Lami Mthethwa, embrace the power of progress. Embrace the power of progress. Lami Mthethwa.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, how does progress look like to you? How does progress look like to you? When I think about progress, I'm reminded of a story, a personal story for that matter. My first speech here at Toastmasters. The sweaty hands, the trembling, words getting choked up in my mouth, my thoughts racing faster than my words. I could barely keep up. After sitting down, I remember saying to myself, Lami, that was a true disaster. But something unexpected happened. My evaluator then, whom I clearly remember, Wami Namponya, stood up, looked at me, smiled, and said, "You did it." I did it. Yes, you did it. You did what most people fear. You overcame your fear of public speaking. It hit me right then that progress isn't about perfection. Progress isn't about a flawless execution. Progress isn't about a flawless speech with no anxiety or trembling. But progress indeed, it's about courage, taking that step to give that speech, to take up that role. What does progress look like to you? Fellow Toastmasters and guests, think back to your journey. Think back to the very first time you gave your speech. It might not have sounded so perfect, but look at yourself today. Look at how far you have come. Think about that moment you volunteered for a role that seemingly felt out of your comfort zone, but you decided to take it because you wanted to grow. Think about that time you took up a role that you had no idea of how you were going to handle it. Think about that moment. How did it leave you feeling? How do you feel when you think about the fact that you faced your fear, took the next step, showed up, and gave your all? There is a quote I love very much, and it says, "Success is the sum of all the efforts you put day in, day out." I'll repeat that. Success is the sum of all efforts repeated day in, day out. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe you will attest with me that this journey that we have embarked on, this journey of personal development, it's not an easy journey. It's a journey full of ups and downs, full of highs and lows. But look at you. Every time you challenge yourself, every time you challenge yourself to give that speech, every time you challenge yourself to take up that role that feels out of your comfort zone, you are supporting your personal growth. Not only are you supporting your personal growth, every time you give that feedback as an evaluator, guess what? You are supporting someone else's personal growth. And not only are you supporting someone's personal growth, you are also supporting your personal growth. Ladies and gentlemen, embracing the power of progress isn't just about moving forward. It's about building yourself to be the best version of yourself. It's about looking at yourself daily and acknowledging that I'm putting in the work. It's not about perfection. Question now is, what does embracing progress feel like? Or what does embracing progress look like? Embracing progress looks like taking the next step. Question might be, what does taking the next step look like? For someone who is here and you're not yet a Toastmaster, taking the first step would be you reaching out to the next person to say, I want to be part of this program. I want to be part of this atmosphere, this environment where people challenge themselves, where people confront their fear of public speaking, where people put in the work to personally develop themselves. Taking the next step could be for someone who's been a Toastmasters and have not yet given their first speech. The next step from here would be you reaching out to the VPE or reaching out to your mentor to say, I need to start preparing for my next speech. Taking the next step for some of us would be, I've been giving 5 to 7 minutes speech. Let me now challenge myself to start giving 12 to 15 minutes speech like I am doing today. Taking the next step would be, next meeting, I'm taking up a role. Either as a timer, either as a grammarian, either as an or counter, either as an evaluator. Remember, it's not about perfection. Secondly, what does embracing progress look like? Embracing progress, ladies and gentlemen, looks like you and me showing up not because it's easier to do so. Just by show of hands, how many of us here can say we literally dragged ourselves to this meeting? Just by show of hands to say, I literally had to carry myself to this meeting. I see 2 hands there. And I'm also putting my hand up to say to you, I'm not here because it's easier to be here. I'm here because I understand the importance of showing up to a meeting like this one, of giving my speech, receive my feedback from my evaluator, take that feedback and improve my next speech. I'm not here because it's easier to give a speech. I'm here because I've come to realize that progress is not about perfection. I'm not here to give a perfect speech or a flawless speech. I'm here to put or take another step in developing my communication skills, in developing my public speaking skills. I can attest to that. A lot of us are not here because it's easier to be here. We are here because of our desire to grow. And the only way to grow is to show up. My mentor once said to me, Lame, be what the environment requires you to be. Have you ever thought about what does the Toastmasters environment requires you to be or requires to be? The Toastmasters environment requires you to show up. It requires you to give that speech. It requires you to take up those roles, to take up the leadership roles, not because it's easier to, but because that's how we grow, that's how we learn and grow in Toastmasters. Lastly, how does embracing progress look like? Choosing to speak when silence feels safer. I've been in environments, I've been in place where I would find my way to the back seat and choose to be silent. Choose not to say anything because it felt safer. Many times we show up to meetings like these and we begin to think, or we begin to say to ourselves, what if I don't sound perfect? What if I'm not eloquent enough, like Tepo? What if I'm not able to do this flawlessly, like Kelezo? And then you decide to do what? To be silent. Because it feels safer. Because there is a voice in your head saying to you, can you really do it? And you decide, I'll keep my silence. I'll not say anything. It's safer that way. But that's not embracing progress. Embracing progress is saying, or choosing that I will not be silent when I need to speak. I will not shy away from taking up that timer role. I might not know how to handle it. I might not know what to say, but I'll not be silent. Progress will whisper to your ear and say, find a way to do this. Progress will whisper to your ear and say, why not reach out to your mentor and ask how you can carry out this role, how you can facilitate being a table topics master. That's embracing progress. Choosing to speak, choosing to shout out, choosing to ask for help when it's easier to be silent. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I would like to challenge you this evening. When was the last time you celebrated your small wins? Just think about it. We're a group of people here. We're a community of dreamers. We're a community of people saying we want to develop ourselves. But when was the last time you celebrated yourself? When was the last time you celebrated the fact that you just showed up to the meeting? When was the last time you celebrated that I tried my best, I gave that speech? And it's not about perfection. In conclusion, I would like to challenge you again to say, think about the progress you've been making in your Toastmasters journey. Write it down and share it with the next person. Tell someone, when I started, I couldn't give a 12 to 15 minute speech, but today I did it. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Lame. Thank you very much for those insightful lessons. I guess we all needed to hear that tonight. Let's embrace progress. Let's not be silent. And let's celebrate small wins. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the better speaking segment. At this point now, I'll call the timekeeper, Tepo Taba, to come back to the virtual stage and give us the timers report. Thank you, Tepo.
Thank you so much, Tepo, namesake. I have the timekeeper's report with me. Our first speaker, Hasina, she did her speech in 6 minutes, 8 seconds, which was well within time. And our second speaker, Bonolo Papa, she did her speech in 6 minutes, 47 seconds. And our last but not least speaker, Lami Mtetwa, she did her speech, which was supposed to be 12 to 15 minutes. She did it in 15 minutes, 26 seconds, which was a little bit over time by 26 seconds. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Can I call upon the Zoom master to please launch the poll?
The poll has been launched.
Thank you, Leah. Let's vote for the best effort speaker for tonight.
We're at 70%.
70%. We'll stop at 80%. Or at least 80%.
True.
Yeah.
Almost, but now at 78. Just need
78.
1 or 2 more people to vote, then we'll be at 80%.
Kindly vote.
Okay, we're just left with about 15 more seconds. If you don't vote, then you lose your vote.
Your right to vote.
Yes.
Your democracy.
All right, we have reached 82% and I will close the poll.
Thank you. I'll now call the Hack Master to do the Hack Master segment. Wipilo Malusi Omiat, please take up the visual stage.
Thank you once again, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. It is now time for us to test our listening abilities. So the first question is, what was Hasina's speech title?
Whispers of the Laughing Doves.
Perfect, perfect. Who spoke about bullying?
Bunala.
Bonolo.
Perfect. And then Lame gave a quote. Do we remember what the quote was?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead, please.
Success is the sum
It's
of
all
all
sum of
efforts
all efforts
repeated day
repeated
in,
day
day
in and
out.
day out.
The sum of all.
Okay. Please go ahead, Tumelo.
Success is the sum of all efforts repeated day in, day out by Robert Collier. I looked it up.
Woo! Wow! Excellent, excellent. It seems you people were really paying attention. What advice did Bonolo give us to avoid bullying? What did she say we can do to
Raise
avoid?
awareness.
Raise awareness is one of them. And then the other one?
Therapy.
Okay, therapy. Okay, and then we need to model the right behaviors. Okay, we will continue. How many eggs does the female dove lay? Hansina mentioned something around laying of eggs. How many did she say the female dove lays?
I was gonna say it depends on how fertile the duck is. The dove is.
But what did she say? Because she mentioned something.
Or
Okay, 1 or 2, she said. And then who spoke about the beauty of lifelong bonding?
Hasina.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, and who were the bullies that Bonolo spoke about? Were they boys or girls?
boys.
Boys. Duh.
Not you
Of
one.
course, it had to be boys. And what did Lame say progress is?
Making small wins.
Choosing to show up.
All of the
Okay.
above, etc.
Etc., etc. Okay, yes, courage, taking the first step. Yeah, it was so many things there. So what healing strategies did Bonolo employ?
Therapy.
Therapy.
Uh-huh. And then there was another one that she mentioned. God, isn't it? Yeah, she sought that, yes. She turned to God when things were tough. Do I still have time, Madam Timer?
I think
We are at 4 minutes, 30 seconds. So
Okay.
I think
I can end it here. Okay, thank you so much. It looks like the team was really paying attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonolo, for that engagement. We are now moving on with the program, going into better listening evaluation. At this point in time, I'll call the general evaluator, Gerald Peterson.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. I mentioned to escape my future Toastmaster that was a bit disgruntled. So now I would like us to call on the evaluators first before the other role players. Also to give the evaluators an opportunity to potentially use the word of the day. So I would now like to call on our first evaluator. I believe it's Paul to give feedback on the speech that was delivered by Tatu Yampo, the speech that was delivered by Hasina. Mpo, over to you.
Hi, Mpo. Please unmute yourself.
Okay.
There we go.
Good evening. My sincere apologies. I've been struggling. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Okay. I've been struggling a bit. I think it was issues of connection. Are we doing the evaluation?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. I was struggling a bit with the issue of connection. Fine. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the pleasure of evaluating Hassan. I hope I'm quite sure with the pronunciation of Hassan's name. Hassan, well done for your speech presentation. What you have excelled on, I loved your well-crafted speech where you gave us the introduction. And when you came into the virtual stage, you threw in a rhetorical question. You said, have you ever had a simple encounter with nature that makes you pause and reflect on what the true meaning of love, commitment, and family is? That's a thought-provoking and captivating opening statement for your presentation. And then you went down into the body of your speech. You told us about the dove. I loved how when you laughed, by the time when you said you called the veterinarian and the veterinarian assured you that there is really nothing wrong with the dove, and you went like, ha. And that's a good expression to also add a cherry on top of your presentation. I also loved the fact that you took us through the learning lessons of the three lives of the life of the dove, the laughing dove. You talked about strength of minimalist, the power of shared parenting, as well as the beauty of bonding. And you didn't leave us there. You continued to unpack each lesson, what it means. And from what I learned from when you unpacked these lessons is that we really need to learn a lot from doves, in as much as, yes, doves, they symbolize love. You talked about, I think I picked simplicity there, shared parenting, commitment, bonding. And then I also loved when you concluded your presentation by giving us few lines from the poem that you have composed. In terms of what I wish for you to work on, okay, before that, I also loved how you incorporated your hand gestures. In terms of what I want you to work on, in as much as, yes, you incorporated your hand gestures, but there was too much movement. There were points where you didn't need to bring in your hand gestures, but just allow your hands to lie on the sides. And then, in as much as, yes, there's a point where you mentioned the curiosity, when you mentioned that you were worried about the dove, when you mentioned that you were quite curious about this dove, is it sick, is it dehydrated, is it weak, or whatever the questions that you were asking yourself. I would have loved for you to sort of pause a bit and you ask yourself this question, and you demonstrate or you incorporate your facial expressions to show how much worried you were with this dove. With that being said, Hansen, I loved your speech presentation and I'm looking forward to hear from more of your speeches. Over to you, Toastmaster of General Evaluator, hey, it's General what? Rather, whatever. Over to you, Gerald.
Thank you so much, Mpo, for the feedback on that delivery. Our next evaluator, Tato, is going to share feedback of the speech delivered by Bonolo. Tato, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. I was evaluating Bonolo. Did you know that 1 out of 5 cases of bullying in the school are reported? You applied or you shared the same question to us adults. From that opening, Bonolo, let me assure you that you got everyone's attention in the room. The speech was to share awareness of bullying in schools that can even affect you in later years. You share your own personal story, and by that, you owned that story. That provides also the credibility in terms of to your speech because you are sharing it as a personal story. So it clearly demonstrated that you understood the topic in hand. You took us through the journey on how you can just grow or just have a normal life. And all of a sudden, everything changes because of bullying. You shared with us the effects of bullying, how bullying can even make you to lose interest. Remember, the purpose of the speech was just to give us speech with purpose. Clearly, all that I highlighted, it was giving us that purpose of the story to share that bullying, it really can affect our daily lives. You also provided us with solution, like you shared the solution of therapy. That was taking us through this journey of how bullying can affect us, and also you shared the solution on how you can deal with bullying. I also like the use of hand gestures, where you said, let's show by show of hands, in that you led us to make it even easier for us to raise our hands. The unfortunate part was only that because of the visual meeting, it wasn't coming that clearly, but I really like for you to direct us to raise our hands so that it can be, even for someone who also have the same experience of being bullied, it will be easier for that person to raise their hand. You also, one thing that I really liked, the call of action when you were concluding, you shared on how everyone can play a part in the bullying, because this begins at our homes. People say charity begins at home, and it's exactly that call for action for parents, that call for action for policies that can promote anti-bullying. You call for action at the end of a speech. So what we can improve, or areas of improvement, I really like your hand gestures and parts. So there were moments in speech that now your hands were just moving like a bit, kind of distracting, but I wanted you to consistently use the use of hand gestures. And I really like the way you were positioning your camera, because it was clearly showing your hand gestures and your body movement. So one thing also that I want you to incorporate your vocal variety. You were sharing with us a sad story of bullying. So there were in that story moments where we could have really shared in terms of those sad moments, and clearly they should have come as really sad, and that because it's a sad story. So next time also try to incorporate that, so that it can clearly, that vocal variety, that pauses that we have to even really absorb in terms of the story. Other than that, Bonolo, it was a well-presented speech with a defined purpose. You have met your objectives. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Tatu, for that detailed feedback. Our final evaluator, Rita Bile, will come and share with us the nexus between the objectives of Lame's speech as well as the delivery of a speech. Rita Bile, over to you.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator. Good evening again, and fellow Toastmasters and our guests. Tonight, I had the privilege of evaluating Lame Mthethwa. Lame Mthethwa is one of the Toastmasters that I found when I joined Toastmasters. So she is a seasoned speaker. Great speech, Lame, great speech, because when you were delivering that speech, it resonated. I believe it resonated with everybody in this meeting, and even our guests. They were thinking about that time when they had to deliver their speech, how they felt. To me, I thought about it, and it was chaos by that time. So thank you very much for delivering that speech and assisting us to go back and think about it. What is Toastmasters to us? We are not here because it's easy. We are here because we care about our development. We care about your development as a sister, as a brother, as a family of Toastmasters. What did she say? Success is a sum of all efforts. So we should make sure that we put in that little effort Don't think about big efforts. Come to meetings, take up roles. That's how you make a difference to you and to those in this meeting. That was really good. And thank you again for that. Your voice projection, Lame, was really good. And the use of English language was very clear. I believe we have all heard Lame, and that was very good. You engaged us, your audience. You know, you were talking to us with that smile, your hand gestures, as much as you were sitting up, but we are able to see a bit of those hand gestures that you incorporated in your speech also. Now, to your things that you can improve on, it's your camera positioning. You know, our guests and the incoming Toastmasters, most of the time, this, and for all of us, this is for the feedback, it's all of for us. So next time, I would encourage you to position your camera in such a way that we are able to see all your upper body and your hand gestures so that they don't appear to be in your face, and so that we are able to evaluate even your facial expressions during your speech. Things that you can challenge yourself on. I've realized that during your speech, there was a time where when you started your Toastmaster speech, you know, you were shivering, your hands were sweaty. So during that time, I expected to show that shivering, you know, the voice may dip down so that you know that time was a moment where you were so vulnerable. So in that time, I believe that is where you could have used that vocal variety. So in the upcoming speeches, let's challenge ourselves with incorporating most of the vocal variety in our speeches so that we keep on challenging ourselves. But otherwise, Lame, thank you for the speech. We were able to get the message. We were able to hear your cry that we need to be here. It's not easy, Toastmasters. We need to be here for the family. We need to be here for each other. We need to be here for ourselves. Just drag yourself and show support. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Rita Bill. And that clearly shows the connection between the objectives as well as the speech delivered. I just want to encourage the fellow Toastmasters that we will vote for best evaluators. So just keep that in mind as we continue with the rest of the feedback. Next up, I would like to call on our grammarian to give their feedback of the meeting. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. As grammarian, my role was to note the use of the English language, or to police the use of the English language. And there's a few things that I came to appreciate. I loved the name Laughing Doves, as it illustrates the noises those doves make. But laughing doves are just African pigeons, and laughing doves is a more animated name given to them. I also noted some sayings. I heard the saying, "The world was my oyster," given by Bonolo over there, which is a popular phrase showing how someone at the time thought the world was open to their disposal. I also noted that saying by Lame that says, "Success is the sum of all efforts repeated day in and day out," by Robert Collier. Sayings help us add meaning and color to our speeches, and they're always welcome. However, I did note a few corrections, and I noted that Bonolo tended to say "so bad" or "very sad," when in those instances, it's a chance to use adjectives that would describe clearly how one feels in those times. For example, "so bad" could be alternated with "horrible," "horrendous," "unpleasant," "unfortunate," depending on the context. "Very sad," on the other hand, could be alternated with "unhappy," "discouraged," "dejected," "despondent," or any which is fit. Expanding your vocabulary in that sense tries to eliminate the use of so bad, very, very horrible, when there are words that can show such an instance or explain. I also noted something that prompted me to go and research. Our evaluator, Tato Komani, said topic in hand. I felt the need to go investigate whether it's topic in hand or topic at hand. And he was indeed correct in what he said, because topic in hand means what is being held or controlled at the time. So he was talking about a situation or a topic or even a problem that Bonolo was facing, when at hand means something that is close by or readily available. So please take note of that. Lastly, when it comes or pertains to the word of the day, nexus, I only noted 2 people who use the word nexus aside from myself and the Toastmaster of the day, who were reminding people to use it. That was Bipilo, who used it once, as well as Hasina, who used it once. If I did not note you, my sincerest apologies. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Grammarian. I would now like to call on the R counter to share their feedback of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator. And oh, I'm supposed to be the accountant. I'm starting off with saying So yes, this is a very interesting role because you really listen to find out if people are using filler words. And I must commend our 3 speakers. I really try to listen really hard to pick up any ahs and ums. When I was listening, I didn't really pick up much from our 3 speakers. I think only Bunolo, I picked up one and then from the other people who came to the virtual stage, I picked up some R's from Tsepo, Buipelo, Mpo, Tato, and Ritabile. So I must definitely, as one way to help in terms of ensuring that you don't use filler words. I picked this up from Bunolo when she was presenting. She was really pausing when she was giving her speech, and I noticed that that's a good way to ensure that you collect your thoughts so that you can continue speaking, and then you don't have to resort to using filler words. So pausing is a great way of helping you to not use filler words, the ahs and the ums. So watching her speech, I really saw she does use pauses quite a lot, and I think that helps her to ensure she doesn't use filler words. And I could see they're pretty purposeful. So that's one hint to help you as you are presenting your speech, to stop you from using filler words. Just pause. So other than that, well done in ensuring that we are minimizing the filler words that we are using whenever we do come to the virtual stage. That is my report. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much to the R counter for that report. Our final role player is the timekeeper's report for the feedback of the evaluators. So back to you, timekeeper of the day.
Thank you so much, Mr. General Evaluator, sorry. My role for the timekeeper was not an easy one. Like Lami said, we should try to challenge ourselves to take up roles no matter how difficult. So with our speech evaluators, Mpho Kabelo did 3 minutes, 23 seconds. Well, her evaluation feedback was supposed to be between 2 minutes and 3 minutes. She was a little bit over time by 23 seconds. And our second evaluator, Hato Gomane, my apologies about the technical glitches that I had during his evaluation feedback, but I recorded 4 minutes, 13 seconds. If I went a little bit over time because of my technical glitches this side, apologies about that. And Retabile Siso also, I had a few technical glitches because of the weather this side. I recorded 4 minutes, 39 seconds. And for the grammarian, Dumelo Mapalala, she did 2 minutes, 57 seconds, which was within her allocated time of 2 minutes to 3 minutes. And our R counter, Leam Sunga, she did 1 minute, 45 seconds, which was great within time. Thank you, General Evaluator of the Day.
Thank you so much to the timer. And I'm just thankful that I gave the timer an opportunity to give feedback prior to me speaking, because according to the program, I note that I have time until 10 to 8 to give my feedback. So, so I'm going to ask you to brace with me. So yeah, just in terms of the overall feedback of the meeting, I was incredibly impressed with the meeting starting on time. I joined the meeting just as 6 o'clock struck, and the Zoom master was busy explaining just the functionalities of the meeting and what is expected of the different role players as well as the guests in terms of changing names and so forth. So there is a rare find in Toastmaster Club. So I really would like to commend that. And as I joined in, started settling in, I could sense the energy and the level of enthusiasm in the meeting. And I again want to encourage even other visiting Toastmasters, that really sets the platform for visiting Toastmasters as well as guests, and it gives them the sense of belonging, which is what I felt in that process. Thank you so much for that. The prepared speeches was incredible. I like that the program says better speaking. It always shows that there's an opportunity for improvement. So that really, in terms of the category, makes a lot of sense. And the speakers themselves was very encouraging. I seldom find that we have three speakers that gives us the opportunity to reflect on the theme, which was past, present, and future, as well as give you an opportunity to learn from the speeches. Very, very good life lessons that was shared there. Equally so, the evaluators was really good at that task in terms of giving specific and detailed feedback of the different speeches. Again, not just for the purpose of the speakers, but for everyone on the call, which I believe creates a really good learning opportunity as well. A mark of a good and growing club is the numbers. This evening, we were just over 20 people on the score, with some that has dropped off. So I want to commend the president as well as the leadership of the club for establishing such a healthy club with visitors as well as other Toastmasters. So thank you so much for that. Just some areas I believe that the club can grow in and improve on. Unfortunately, I was a little bit distracted with my little man in the beginning, so I couldn't really see if the president welcomed the visitors. So I do apologize if I missed out on that. I think it's always important to make the visitors feel like they belong. So that really brings about the culture of what is trying to be established, as I see hashtag creating a culture of care. And second to that, when we went into the better speaking section, I was unaware that the first speaker is not available. So I sort of jumped in at a stage where if I got the message prior to that, so not just referring to myself, but different role players, it's important to inform the role players as well if there's changes to the program, just in case someone is not able to view the program minutes before the time. So that is something I believe can really establish a stronger sense in the club. I did not notice a section on table topics in the meeting. Um, we had sufficient role players that I believe someone could have been delegated to take on the table topic section. Table topic is a really good platform to establish growth in a club, and especially the fact that we're moving into competition season. I think that's not something that should be neglected. So just for the VPE to take note of that. Over and above, I think it was a really, really good meeting, well structured, even well in terms of time. Just one or two notes for I picked it up quite a bit with a timer and one or two other people. So during the Toastmaster meetings, we sometimes miss one or two things and we tend to apologize a lot. I would rather like to encourage you to frame your words in a sense of, instead of apologizing, rather thanking the audience for their patience. And that also just gives a more positive message instead of bringing out apologies. With that being said, I honestly appreciated being part of this meeting and also having the opportunity to meet different Toastmasters. And I would like to thank the VP as well as the Toastmaster of the day for allowing me the opportunity for that feedback. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, for that detailed evaluation. Thanks to your team. I'm sure there's a lot to improve on that. On that note, I'll now hand over to this is an opportunity for us to vote the best evaluator. The poll is now launched. Kindly vote.
We are at 56%. So just like before, once you reach 80, we'll stop.
Okay, thank you.
We're now at 68%. They say every vote matters. At 75%. So I think 1 or 2 people to vote, then we are closing the poll. Okay, 15 more seconds, then the poll closes. All right, so we are closing the poll. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, team. Thank you for the opportunity. At this point, I'll now hand over the reins to Madam President to give the voting results and then engage on the guest feedback. Over to you, Madam President.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Tepo Mahoe. What a wonderful job you did today. And thank you for challenging yourself to take up this role. It's never an easy feat, but we are so, so proud of you here at Gaborone Toastmasters Club. If anyone is interested in this position, it's free and always open for a volunteer to take it up. So challenge yourself to perhaps take it up in the new year. I have a few announcements before we get into our awards and recognition. I'm sad to announce that this is our last online meeting for the year. But however, we'll be having an in-person meeting on the 3rd of December, which is next week, Tuesday, at Lifeline Medical Center in Mogoditani or in Ludumajumani. It will be themed hats off, and we challenge you to bring your Christmas hat and join us on that evening. I'd also like to announce that our next online meeting will be on the 14th of January in the new year, and we look forward to seeing all of you guys who won't be able to join us in person next week. However, we wish you a great holiday as can be expected. I'd also like to announce our club contest is coming up very soon. So we have scheduled that February 14th of next year will be when we will host our club contest. This will all be communicated through our channels, being mainly WhatsApp and our social media, so you can follow suit. Leah, please assist me with awards and recognitions for the evening.
All right. So we normally start with best evaluator. So for tonight, based on your votes, it was Tato Kumani. So well done, Tato. And then in terms of best effort speaker, it was Lame Mutetwa. So well done, Lame. We always appreciate visiting Toastmasters who help us. So thank you so much, Mpo, for taking on the role of evaluator, and Gerald for taking on the role as general evaluator. And I think if I would just put on my VPE hat, just to remind people that the Toastmasters base camp has had a facelift or a new clothes. So I want to encourage you, please log on to Basecamp. So this is just a screenshot I had taken. It looks a little bit different. So mine looks like this because I am doing two parts at the same time, innovative planning and effective coaching. So the main thing which hasn't changed, which we want all of you to do, so even like tonight you presented a speech, please go back to Basecamp and just assess your skills, because we want to see these green ticks next to your projects. And this is only possible if you assess your skills before. So this is how the page looks, and you have to assess your skills after. And afterwards, you are going to get a green tick next to the particular project that you have presented. So please go into Basecamp, navigate. It's much easier now. You go into the project, you open level 1, level 2, assess your skills before, assess your skills after, and you have these lovely green ticks next to the project indicating it has been completed. Don't wait. Do it immediately you finish giving your speech. Thank you, and back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam SAA, VPE, VPM for that announcement. Please contact either Leah or myself or any of the executive committee members to help you if you need help with the Basecamp. However, I believe this new revamp has made Basecamp so user-friendly, and I think we will all enjoy looking at our projects on this new platform. Before I close off the meeting, could I please request that we all switch on our cameras and take a group photo? Please humor me by switching on your camera so we take a group photo for our thumbnail on YouTube. Have you followed us on YouTube? We are Gaborone Toastmasters Reloaded on YouTube. Please follow the page. Yes, the cameras are on. Leah, are you ready?
Yes, I am very much ready.
Yes.
And with nice big smiles. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes, let me quickly close, and then I'd like to request that our guests stay, because we always like to interact with our guests. There's quite a few that I've seen throughout the call. Please stay just for a few minutes, ask us questions, find out what you need to regarding our club. With that said, as we bring this evening to a close, I'd like to thank each of you for your contributions to tonight's meeting. A special mention goes to our visiting Toastmasters, Mpho Kabelo and Gerald Peterson, for always showing their support to our club. But through your speeches and your insights, we've embraced the past as a foundation, engaged with the present as a stepping stone, and envisioned a future filled with possibilities. The journey of growth, like the flow of time, never stops. So let's take everything we've learned tonight and carry it with us, knowing that the past shapes us, the present empowers us, and the future is ours to create. Thank you once again, and I look forward to seeing you at our next meeting, which is, like I said, next year, January 14th. Otherwise, join us next week, December 3rd, at Lifeline in Mukhoditane, just after Pula Spa. I look forward to seeing you then. Good night. Thank you.
Everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.